Thank you. It's great to be back here for my media day. I've been watching on SEC Network all week, so hope your week has gone well. You've made it to the final day, so we're on the home stretch and certainly can finish this thing. Very grateful to be up here. We'll never take for granted the position that I'm in as a head football coach in the Southeastern Conference. As a young coach coming up, I used to watch this every year on SEC Network. So to be standing up here for the third year in a row is something I am extremely grateful for, and like I said, we'll never take for granted. And a big reason for that is because of how fantastic this league is. There's nothing like the Southeastern Conference, the premier conference in the nation on the field. You look at the NFL draft every single season, what we're doing off the field as well. Players and coaches want to play in this league and want to coach in this league, and I'm no different. I love coming here and being able to see so many faces here at SEC Media Day each year. I love going to Destin in the month of May and being around so many other Hall of Fame coaches, not just football, but men's basketball, women's basketball. It's a great fraternity of coaches in this league, and I'm blessed to be a part of it. Very thankful for Commissioner Sankey and his leadership, as he alluded to, someone that I've had great respect for over the years as a coach coming up in the profession. And now that I'm in this league and getting to work with him day in, day out, my respect for him has only grown. There's great uncertainty nowadays in college athletics, there's no doubt about it. But to have him leading the way makes me feel a whole lot better as well. And congratulations to him on his new and well-deserved contract extension. And then thanks to all you do for everything that you do for college athletics and promoting our great game. My three children have not let me forget that I had the second longest opening statement last summer. So they've been telling me for 2 weeks, don't be that guy again. So I didn't think I was long last year, but apparently I was. So I'm going to be much shorter this year, or try to. Excited about the three guys that I have here with me today: Spencer Rattler, Kai Kroger, and Tonka Hemingway. Three guys that are great examples of everything that's right about college athletics. You hear a lot about what's wrong with college athletics nowadays. Those three guys embody what is right. Guys that are tough, dependable, competitive, and unbelievable ambassadors for our program. Spencer and I were obviously together at Oklahoma. I've known him since 2018 when I got to Oklahoma and we were recruiting him. Fantastic career at Oklahoma. What a great season that he had down the stretch for us last season. So fired up that he's back as our quarterback for another year. Someone that came in and was voted a captain by his teammates last season as a junior and has an opportunity to be a two-time captain here at South Carolina. Somebody that finished the season strong last season but has not slowed down. He was voted our most outstanding offensive player during spring practice, and excited to see what he's going to do this upcoming year. Tonka Hemingway, unselfish, unbelievable person and football player, guy that played defensive tackle, but then in the bowl game, because of depth, had to play defensive end in the bowl game for us. Played every play, never came off the field. Great player for us on special teams as well. Someone from the state of South Carolina, and that's where it's always going to start with us in recruiting, is recruiting our own state. Tonka embodies that. And then Kai Kroger, frankly, he's the best punter in the nation. He was the best punter in the nation last year, in my opinion, and he is a weapon for us. Glad that he's back for another season. Outstanding student athlete. He was named our most outstanding student athlete academically in spring practice, and a guy that not only is he a phenomenal punter, he has 3 touchdown passes in his career on fake punts and fake field goals that we've ran over the last couple years, and hope to add to that in 2023 also. Really like this 2023 team that we have returning. It's a hungry group. They've shown they're not satisfied with just 8 wins. They know that we have a higher ceiling here at Carolina, and everything that they've done since January embodies that. We've had a great summer in the weight room with Luke Day, our head strength coach, and his staff. Like the way that these guys are working. It's a big thing with us, and a big message is no complacency. We can't assume that because things went well for us last season, because we won 8 games and accomplished a lot of firsts, that it's just automatically going to go that way again because we've got returning players. We've got 38 new guys on our football team, and I know in today's college football, rosters turn over more than they ever have. But 38 is a really, really high number when you talk about incoming freshmen and transfers. So we have gone from 2 wins to 7 wins to 8 wins, but it's going to take that much more in every area. Our challenge has been to be better in every single area of our program, every department, than we were in 2022. And we're well on our way to doing that. We're going to be a young football team. We expect to play true freshmen at every single position this upcoming season. So we've got to grow up and continue to get better in a hurry. Got a lot of personnel back on the offensive side of the ball. Hired a new offensive coordinator in Dow Loggins. Couldn't be more excited about the addition of him to our program on and off the field. Some impact transfers and incoming freshmen we're excited to get to work with once we start practice next month. Key for us offensively, we've just got to be a lot more consistent than what we've been. We've done some really good things offensively, but we've been way too inconsistent. To have a week last year where we didn't score an offensive touchdown against Florida, but then to come back the very next week and score 63 points in the next game, the inconsistencies and the extremes we've got to be better about. Defensively, year 3 with Clayton White, our defensive coordinator. Key for us there is going to continue to be an opportunistic defense, which is what we've been. We've led or been second in the SEC 2 years in a row in takeaways. We've got to continue to be that opportunistic group as well. Really fired up. Our coaching staff stayed intact defensively except for the addition of Travian Robertson. The opportunity to bring Travian back home. He's a former South Carolina football player, was a highly recruited player out of the state of North Carolina. So that decided to come to South Carolina. So we need more guys in that state to follow his lead and come across the border south. But Travian was a highly recruited guy, great player in college, good NFL career, and he's made an impact already. One of our defensive linemen pulled me aside a week after Travian had been on our campus and said, "You hired the right guy, hiring that guy. He's made us better already." So our defensive line group is better already with the addition of Travian Robertson, and can't wait to see what he's going to do. We lost some major contributors on our defense on all 3 levels. Great players and great leaders that we've got to do a great job replacing. Special teams has been a weapon for us the last 2 seasons. It has won football games for us under the leadership of Pete Limbo. Got to continue to be that way also, and confident that we will be. Anytime you return all of your key specialists, you got a chance. And we return our punter, our kicker, our long snapper, our kickoff returner. The question for us is going to be who our punt returner is going to be, but that needs to continue to be a weapon for us. Really proud of what our players are doing off the field. We had great success on the field last season, accomplished a lot of firsts, but this past semester, the spring semester, academically, our football team had the highest GPA in the history of South Carolina football. So the highest team grade point average last spring was the highest it's ever been, not since I've been at Carolina, but in the history of Carolina football. So proud of our guys and what they're doing. We've got 21 players that will be graduates of the University of South Carolina when we kick off game 1 against North Carolina, and that's following up on last year when we had 22 players that were graduates last year as well. We had 8 players on our team this past spring that had 4.0 GPAs. So the work that our guys are doing academically and athletically, I'm really proud of. We talk about competition as a core value in our program. Our guys love to compete in everything. As I mentioned, some great things last season, a lot of firsts, but a lot of things that we have to be better at. You guys that follow us regularly know that I've said this. It's 2 years in a row. Our offense has been last in the SEC at turning the ball over. Nobody in this league has fumbled and thrown more interceptions than we have in the last 2 seasons. So that's got to improve. That starts with me as the head football coach. And then obviously we've got to be better at running the football and stopping the run as well. We've got a demanding schedule that we get to play, opening up with North Carolina and finishing with Clemson, 2 teams that played in the ACC championship game last season, not to mention the 8 SEC games that we'll play between those guys as well. So going to be a challenging year for us, but we're excited about getting started, excited about where things are in recruiting. We just finished up with the class of 2023. It's the highest ranked class we've had at Carolina in over 10 years. The 2024 class is on track to be better than that as well. Love where we're at and where we're going as a program without a doubt. And I've said this before, it's an easy place to recruit to when you talk about the city of Columbia, the state of South Carolina, the unbelievable academics we have at Carolina, the amazing fan base, the facilities, and then the championship sports that we have in other sports like Dawn Staley and our women's basketball program as well. In closing, ton of excitement about our program right now, locally and nationally. Honored to be the head football coach at South Carolina. People want to be a part of what we're doing. This program's not for everybody, but make no mistake about it, the culture in our football program has never been stronger since I took over as the head coach in 2020. So we've got sold out Gamecock Club events that I'm going to right now. Our season ticket sales are up 106%, they were telling me the other day, and that just is building off the momentum that our fan base showed when they took over the city of Jacksonville for the Gator Bowl back in December as well. Love hearing from some of the transfers that we've brought into our program. Love hearing from them when they come into our program and they talk about our program and how different it is from other places as well. I take great pride in that as the head football coach as well. We've made a lot of progress in 2 years, but the best days of South Carolina football are still in front of us. I'm convinced of that, and it's because of the people that we have in our program. You win with people. We have great people in our program. We have great people at the University of South Carolina, great leadership, and couldn't be more honored to be the head football coach at South Carolina. So Sutton, Olivia, Hunter, my 3 children, hope I did better with the opening statement. And with that, be glad to take any questions you guys have.
All right, thank you, Coach. If you have a question, raise your hand. Price, Arizona, Alexis have microphones, and please give your name and affiliation and stand as you can. We'll go ahead and start right here in the center aisle, right in front of me, 3rd row. Alexis.
Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports. Hey, Coach.
Hey, Brad.
You're one of the only coaches in college football the last 2 seasons to have beaten 3 of the nation's 5 national championship head coaches: Jimbo Fisher, Dabo Swinney, Mack Brown. What's the recipe in keeping this momentum going in Columbia, as you said, facing one of the nation's toughest slates?
Yeah, my kids read that to me last night, Brad, and they made sure that I realized that Kirby had won a national championship, and I ain't beaten Kirby as well, and also. So they do a good job keeping me humble as well. Great people. You know, those wins that we had over those fantastic Hall of Fame coaches that you're referring to took all 3 phases and everybody in our program as well. So for us, it's going to be to continue to recruit great players, bring great people into our program. In those games, North Carolina, Texas A&M, and Clemson are the 3 you're referring to. You look at it, I mean, we had impactful plays in all those games on special teams, defense, and offense, and that's what it takes to beat a great team like that, great coaches, great programs. So there's so many Hall of Fame coaches already in this league and future Hall of Fame coaches as well, and that's what it's going to be. It's just continuing to recruit great players and develop the culture that we have at our place.
Coach, we'll go over to your right-hand side in the middle, 1st row.
Yeah, Coach. Brooks Austin with Dogs Daily. I believe you and Coach Sam Pittman are the only 2 coaches in the conference without an extensive coordinating background, offense and defensively. As a football coach, what kind of challenges does that present, and what do you feel like you've had to overcome without that?
Certainly respect the question, but I also, people talk about, well, you haven't been a coordinator. Being a special teams coordinator is being a coordinator. And everybody talks about, well, that guy's not been an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. Being a special teams coordinator prepared me better to be a head football coach than if I had been on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. And I say that because when you're the special teams coordinator, you're the only coach other than the head coach that stands in front of the whole team and talks to the team, because coaching special teams takes the entire roster. So you've got to have a relationship with every player on the team. You got to be able to motivate guys to play special teams. You got to be able to be detailed and organized, because you might get 20 minutes in practice, so you've got to be efficient at what you're doing in that time. So my time as a special teams coach really prepared me. And then the fact that all along I was coaching offense and defense. So I told Ray Tanner and Chance Miller when I interviewed for this job that, no, I haven't been an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, but I wouldn't have changed my career path for anything because of how it did prepare me to be a head football coach as well. You know, and I like to think that I'm somewhat knowledgeable on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball as well, but it was a great experience for me and really beneficial.
Coach will go right in front of me, 2nd row, right in the middle. Alexis, Tom.
Hey, Tom Murphy, Arkansas Democrat. Is that got kind of a 2-parter here? What attracted you to Dowell Loggins for offensive coordinator, and how might your offense look different this year? And secondly, Trey Knox transferred from Arkansas. We really like Trey there. And what do you think of him?
Yeah, I really like Trey in Columbia, so I get it. Dow has been fantastic. I've known Dow for a long time. When he was in the NFL, I think I met him at the Senior Bowl when I was an assistant coach at South Carolina previously, so 2007-8. He was with the Tennessee Titans at the time. Met him at a Senior Bowl practice, and we've just always kept in touch. Wherever he was coaching, I would always just try and go visit just to pick his brain and watch practice. So I went to Miami when he was in Miami. I went to Chicago when he was in Chicago. I went to Nashville when he was here with the Titans. So I knew what kind of person he was and how smart he was on the offensive side of the ball. And then the other thing that attracted me to him was he's not a guy that's been in the NFL his entire career and is set on this is how we have to do things because this is how we do it in the NFL. He spent 2 years in college, and also a few months on Penn State staff where he saw, quote unquote, the college type offenses and how the college game is different, just hash marks and the field and whatnot. So being able to attack it, so that being able to marry the NFL background with the college background really attracted me to him, not to mention the kind of person he is. And he's been better than I even imagined him being as a coach, as a recruiter, as a person. He's got an awesome family, he and his wife Beth, and couldn't be more excited about them being in Columbia. And then same thing with Trey Knox as well. I remember coaching against Trey last season when we played Arkansas in week 2, and what a problem he presented defenses because of his size and athleticism. And Dow was his position coach there at Arkansas and did a great job with him, helping develop him as a tight end. And excited about the leadership, the talent, and the energy level that Trey has already brought to our football team.
Coach, we'll go back over here to our right and in the front row again.
Coach, Brady Penn, Volunteer Country. So like you said, last year you got a 63-point performance against a team that was 10-1, and then you followed that up by beating your in-state rival Clemson. Great final stretch to the season. Have you guys kind of used that as a springboard to what you want to do this fall?
Yeah, those were 2 monumental wins for us. There's no question about it. I was telling somebody earlier, proud of the fact that coming off that win in Columbia against Tennessee, to not just go on the road the next week and win, but to be down 14-0 on the road to Clemson and come back and win that game. That's what I'm so proud of, because human nature would have been to say, well, it's just not our day. We had a great week, great game last week in Columbia, and we're down 14-0, but man, we got that win, we're good. No, our guys battled back. So to me, the mental toughness and the fortitude that our guys showed that day was awesome, and it absolutely has springboarded us in a lot of ways. The momentum that we took from the month of November into recruiting and into 2023 within our facility, but then outside the facility from a recruiting standpoint and just national narrative, without a doubt. But also we understand we got a lot of work to do too. Yes, we had those 2 great wins, but we're also that's the same team that didn't score an offensive touchdown the week before against Florida as well. So we've got to be more consistent, starting with me, but certainly there's a lot that you can take from those 2 games that'll help us going forward.
Coach, we'll go in the section in front of me along the front aisle, about midway back.
Coach Beamer, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. I wanted to ask you about DeCarrion Joyner. I know your running game is going to be a big part of the development of this football team. You got 4 scholarship running backs. He's turned from a quarterback to a wide receiver, made plays for you, and now is going to get a look at running back. Kind of like one of the great Gamecocks, Debo Samuel. But talk about his unselfishness to move and his development as a player and how big a part of the offense he could potentially be this year.
Yeah, he's going to be a huge part of it. First of all, DeCarrion was here with me last year, and I brought him because he embodies everything being a Gamecock is about, and easily could have been here again today as well. He's a fantastic leader and representative of our program. He's literally done everything on our team in his career. Going back, you watch him because we used him some last year in some wildcat quarterback situations. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns against Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. But they were plays where he showed a skill set, making somebody miss in space, lowering his shoulder and trying to get north-south downhill on somebody. So he showed that he has ability as a running back. So honestly, the conversation was before spring practice. In spring practice, we only had 2 scholarship running backs on our entire team going into spring practice. So I just met with DeCarrion just to talk about, would you be open to just us utilizing you at the running back position a little bit this spring. Not wholesale change, but let's just dabble in it and be an opportunity, another way for you to get on the field and help your career after college as well, potentially. And I think maybe he was a little reluctant, but decided to do it and couldn't be more excited that he did. And I think he'll tell you the same thing. He showed great natural ability as a running back. He's going to help us there along in other areas on our team. He and I were actually at a charity event in Charleston the other night, raise money. All the coaches in the state of South Carolina come together to raise money for charity. And DeCarrion was there with me, and they had a Q&A with the players where he came up on stage, and the MC introduced him as a receiver. And he immediately got the microphone and told the whole room, I'm a running back. So he's bought into it and has embodied it, and can't wait to watch him carry the football for us this year, along with our other running backs.
Coach, we're going to go in the center aisle, about halfway back.
All right, don't forget my Oklahoma guys over here, because I see them raising their hands as well. So.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, Chris Phillips of Spurs Up Show. You mentioned the hiring of Travian Robertson, your new defensive line coach. What are your early indications of him in that spot? And then in your front seven, you lose 6 of 8 in regards to snap count from a season ago. Just talk about that rush defense. Do you feel like maybe with some new guys in there, you guys are ready to take the next step in regards to stopping the run this season?
Yeah, excited about Travian, somebody that he was a player when I was an assistant coach at Carolina as well. So loves Carolina through and through. The process to hire him was very short and sweet, because I knew how much I wanted him at Carolina, and I knew how much he wanted to be at Carolina. Obviously, he's worked his way up through the coaching ranks, did a great job at Tulane last season, a Cotton Bowl team last year that won a conference championship. So being able to take some of the things they did defensively at Tulane and help us be better. He's a guy that has played the position, and he's played the position at a high level. So when I mentioned a few minutes ago about one of our players pulling me aside after 1 week to say, you hired the right guy, that means a lot to me, and he'll make our defense better. And then from a defensive standpoint, certainly we've got to be better at stopping the run. It's easy for people to say, okay, if you weren't good enough on the run defense, it's because of your defensive line. It takes all 11. It's the defensive line, it's the linebackers, it's the defensive backs that may be responsible for the C gap. They better be in the C gap and make a tackle. So it takes all 11 to stop the run better. We've got to be able to stop the run and generate pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And we've got some good young players. It's time for them to step up. We've brought some transfers in there as well. That excited to see those guys, and confident that with a group effort, we'll be better there.
We'll go over here to our left. Eric, second row.
Eric Bailey, Tulsa World. Thanks for remembering your Oklahoma guys, Coach.
Could never forget.
Talking a little bit about your Oklahoma connections, can you talk a little bit about Austin Stogner's decision to go back to Oklahoma after 1 year at South Carolina? And also, what were some of the things you saw Spencer really do at Oklahoma and enhance at South Carolina in his first season playing for you?
Yeah, as far as Austin Stogner leaving, you'd have to ask him. Glad he decided to come to Carolina for a year, and he made the decision to move on. As far as Spencer, and what was the question? I'm sorry.
Some of the things you saw in his one season his seasons at Oklahoma, and just how he enhanced his play.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, one, is forget about what he did on the field. I knew what kind of person Spencer is. It wasn't like I was bringing in a guy to play quarterback that I didn't know. I spent 2 years with him at Oklahoma, a little bit longer if you count the recruiting process as well. He was committed when I got there, but I was with him in those 2 seasons. So I knew what kind of person he was. You guys will remember this because you covered Oklahoma, but he had dealt with adversity before at Oklahoma. One like all of a sudden this year or last season we had some tough losses, and that was the first time he went through stuff, or that 2021 was the first time he went through stuff. You guys will remember his first 2 games as a starting quarterback in the Big 12 at Oklahoma. We lost to Kansas State and Iowa State. You're not supposed to lose 2 conference games at Oklahoma. That doesn't happen. Not to mention 2 games to start the season when you're replacing Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts as the quarterback. So seeing Spencer handle that adversity, see him get benched in the Texas game in 2021, but then come back in the second half and lead us to a 4 overtime win, I believe, told me everything I needed to know about Spencer as far as a competitor, leader kind of person he was. So he's made us better on and off the field, and I saw enough. Forget about his talent level on the field, because that speaks for itself. The way he handled himself off the field during my 2 seasons there was really good for me to see. Not to mention his first year there was Jalen Hurts' year as the quarterback, so he got to see Jalen Hurts come in as a transfer quarterback, and I think that, I don't want to speak for Spencer, but I would imagine that helped him seeing that when he made the transition to Columbia.
Coach, we're going to go back over on the right side, midway back.
Gracie Barra, WCBI in Columbus, Mississippi. I know one of your crossover games this year is Mississippi State, and it's a program that both you and your wife have connections to. What'll it be like playing them?
It'll be big. My mother-in-law is already like making the plans for all the people from Starkville that are coming for this game and all that as well. So it'll be a big challenge. Coach Arnett's got a great team returning, a lot of returning production as well. We know that'll be a battle as well, but that's exciting. I've got great memories of my time in Starkville, met my wife there. My in-laws still live there. My father-in-law is the sheriff of Oktibbeha County, so it's we love going back to Starkville and visiting, and it's going to be pretty cool, you know, playing those guys as well. I was a part of my first year at Carolina as an assistant coach was 2007, and Mississippi State came and played in Columbia as well. So now it's pretty cool as the head coach that they're coming back also.
Okay, Coach, we'll go here on our left, second row.
Hey, Shane, George Stoya, Soonerscoop.com. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, George.
I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of talk in Norman, obviously, about getting ready for the SEC. You saw that program. Are they ready for the SEC? I mean, what's that going to look like, and how much are you looking forward to going back to Norman in 2024?
Yeah, I think they're certainly ready. You guys know more about the ins and outs of their program right now, but this is a team that prior to last season had won 5 straight conference championships in the Big 12 going into 2021. And then in 2021, they won, I think, 10 games, 11 games, something like that. So they had a heck of a season in 21 with Lincoln. So they're not very far off, that's for sure. Certainly, this league is different. The line of scrimmages are different. Beyond the field, just the stadiums, and it's when I was talking about in my opening statement just about this league, it's one thing I love about this conference, just the stadiums that you get to go into every single Saturday. Saw a stat the other day where it's, I think where the SEC led the country in average attendance per game, and it wasn't even close compared to the rest of the conferences. So realizing that every single Saturday you're going into a stadium that's got 70, 80, 90, 100,000 fans in it is that'll be different, for those teams coming in. But certainly feel like they're ready. They've great tradition at that place, and excited about going back to Norman in 2024. We got a lot of football to play before then, but that's a proud program with great leadership from under Joe Castiglione, and excited about having OU and Texas in this awesome conference.
Coach, we have one final question in the back, right in front of the camera.
Hey, Coach. This is Fisher Brewer of Gamecock Digest on SportsIllustrated.com. In your introductory press conference, you referenced USC many times as home. What over the last 2 years has reinforced that feeling?
Just the people. It is home. You guys have heard me say it before. I was born in Charleston. Columbia was the first place my wife and I lived after we got married. We got married in Starkville, and then after that season, we moved to Columbia. 2 of our 3 children were born in Columbia, South Carolina. So it's an awesome state, an amazing city. I knew that before I came back. But just the people, the friends we had when we were at South Carolina the first time that we still have, but then the number of friends that our family has made outside of coaching since we came back as well. It's just a fantastic community with great people, and love living in South Carolina, love being the head football coach at South Carolina, and can't wait for the future in that role.
Coach Beamer, thank you for your time this morning.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your week.